All right, welcome everybody. My name is Dan Pano. I'm the Director of Fitness Operations for OneSpa World. And I'm honored and have a pleasure to introduce you to fantastic personal trainers that have been with this company since 2015. And actually, interestingly enough, we were just talking before we started recording. These guys were actually on the same course together in London back in 2015. And I believe they are the last one standing from that course. And the reason they're here and the reason I have them on this call today is an opportunity to share their experiences, why they decided to come back to ships, what's made them successful, and just to give you guys and everyone listening a bit of an understanding of, their backgrounds, their experiences, where they found their success, best practices, the pre and post COVID world, and how they continue to adapt and be a success. So very, very excited to welcome David Jamnik, currently on the Norwegian Bliss, and Rad Ivanovic on the Celebrity Equinox. So I would like to start the questions and open up the questions and have a nice open discussion about experience that I'm sure will motivate, inspire many people that will listen to this at some point. So the first question I have, and let's start with yourself, David, just a bit about your background, your contracts that you've completed, the brands that you've worked on. Just tell us a little bit more about your early days and your experiences so far in summary.
So thank you for having me, first of all. My name is David Jamnik, like Dan mentioned. I come all the way from Slovenia, so that's where that accent comes from. And before the ships, a bit about my background. I was a very active basketball player back in the days. I was also trying to obviously find my ground, but I was always having a feeling that you can maybe do something more. Had a bit of also a travel bug all the time. When I tried to obviously find the connection between the sports and the traveling, and this came up as a great opportunity. Now, for the past 5-6 years, actually, that I've been with the company, worked across the 3 brands. So they were P&O, which is British-based cruise line, Marella, also British-based cruise line, and in the moment I'm on NCL. So I've done 3 contracts on P&O, 1 contract on Marella, and then it's my 2nd contract on NCL ship. It's been pretty much, you can learn from each and every contract. It's nice to see like different environments that you obviously work in, different guests and everything, that obviously gives you the opportunity to maybe also find yourself. Having that passion for, first of all, to try to stay in the field that you were working in before, and also trying to incorporate that in helping others, which what we try to do and what we do very successfully here with the company, is something that obviously then gives you the motivation and the drive to keep yourself going. To grow.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your... Awesome. And I think it's a really good point. You've had the experience of working with British clientele, going from P&O to Marella, now with North Americans, and the experiences and just learning different demographics and having that ability to travel, make money at the same time, but also helping people achieve their goals. Going on a cruise ship, the last thing our guests are probably thinking that they have the ability to get on a nutrition plan, go through a cleansing program, be guided through the exercises they should be doing for their individual needs and goals. So, that ability to be helping people, earning a living and travel, the combination is very, very unique. And as you say, David, so that's great to hear you back, for everyone to understand the experience you've been through. And then Rad, yourself. So over to you, Rad, a bit about your background, the ships that you've worked on, before you worked on ships, and what inspired you to come to ships, and what you're doing here today.
So my name is Radovan Ivanovic, most known as Rad on board, and I've been with the company already. This will be my 6th year of journey. It is, first of all, the biggest bless I ever got, because every day being on the new place and waking up with sunrise and looking in the sea, it's something what it's just special people can be chosen for, and I'm really grateful for that. My background is I study molecular biology and physiology in University of Sheffield in England, and I got myself degree in it 2018. I took a while to finish it, but that is definitely my passion. One thing that drives me forward is I've been most of the time on Carnival Cruise Line. This is my first time with the celebrity journey. Different ships, different population of the onboard, different guest types, but my drive is always one, and it was still there: help people, give them the best opportunity to feel better. We cannot expand people's life, but we can make them feel better. And you know, as a kid, I always used to dream about feeling like a superhero. And every time when a guest comes back, and you know, you see them always back on back, coming in the same vessel, and they're telling you, "Rad, you changed my life." This is where my superhero name comes out from. There is no money that can pay you that feeling that when you get a guest who lost weight and lower medications, or even get rid of them, and telling you it is because you educate them and you motivate them to step out from comfort zone. This is where the whole drive comes out from.
You hit the nail on the head, and that's, I think, for trainers listening that are on board ships right now, or who are getting ready to embark on their journey as a personal trainer, they understand that when people genuinely see that you want to help them, they will invest energy and money with you. But you've got to make it not about yourself. And as you rightly said, people see that, and they see that you genuinely care. That the opportunity that we have to provide these people on board their hard-earned vacations is incredible. The success stories that we've had over the years, to hear stories about how we've helped people alleviate the need of medication, lose weight, improve mobility, eliminate pain. This stuff is priceless. So this is what, and why I still do what I do. I know why you guys are very passionate about what you do, because the ability that we have and the impact that we have on people working on these ships. So that's awesome. So Rad, you had some time, many successful contracts on Carnival as well. You're now a celebrity. You adapted very well to that experience, of course, as you're now a celebrity. But if we go back for both of you, right, you've gone from what you did before ships, you've done your studies, you then come to the London Wellness Academy, and you both went through and as I did, we were all in that same room, that same same conference center, in the gym, those long days, those long nights, studying and developing over that 3-week business school, which is just, been incredibly successful, constantly evolving and constantly developing. But just share with us, starting with yourself, David, what are your experiences from the academy? How did it prepare you? And with that being said, having been through that experience and the things that the experience you had, what advice can you give people with that about to go through the academy and embark on this journey, or virtually?
Yes. So those 3-4 weeks that we did at the academy in London, that was like something completely. It was a new level. It was a new experience. Like, even though I know for myself, I was trying to be very active back home. I always try to find some new motivation, some new educations, etc. But then once you get guided, especially that guiding that we went through on training, so in Watford, that was like 3-4 weeks of, like, I wrote it down for myself. Like, it was intense training. At that point, it felt like something, I don't know. A lot of people describe it as a military. I wouldn't say it as a military, but yeah, it was on point. I still remember, like, obviously those long days of studying and trying to adapt to a new thing. And because we were learning each and every day, we tried to learn a new thing. It was either public speaking, it was obviously delivering the seminars, delivering the informations, all those little details that Mr. Wayne Zimmer trained us to do. It was intense, but it's probably one of the most worthy, or one of the best time, or maybe one of the times that actually gave me the most experience for not just ship life, but also generally in life. So obviously you get prepared for, like, how to work your mindset, how to set your goals, how to set your expectations, what to do with how how you spend time in a good way, not in a bad way, so you don't waste your time. It was all about preparing yourself. And I understand it was like intense training for preparing us for the ship life, which at that point I didn't maybe understand well. But then when you get put on a ship, you see it's actually the same environment that you have in training. So yeah, I also wrote it down right here. So the trainers that are going to the academy now for the first time, before you get on the academy, I remember we got an email from obviously Wellness Academy. They give you like a starter pack. So the things that you want to pay attention or the things that you want to look a little bit into. So you come to the academy already prepared. And you obviously today you have internet connection everywhere pretty much. You can prepare yourself for that training. So you just get a bit of an idea what are the things that we're going to start learning, or what are they going to start learning at the academy, like I said, either in person or online. And yeah, then just studying that, then just it's a repeating of the same things. It's repeating the studies. It's keep on developing yourself, and that's what the academy is there to do. It sets you up with like a foundation, but then it's on to you to start developing, obviously, the education and the knowledge for yourself. Because once you get the understanding, and once you know how you actually progress, how you can grow, then it's going to be like the most valuable experience pretty much that you can get in life. And even when I talk to people that have been on the academy, maybe trainers that are not with the company anymore, maybe the people that have moved on, etc., but people that are still here, or some people, others that talk about on the ship, like they say, it's probably one of the best, let's call it, academies that can prepare you for business mindset. And this is what it's all about, right? So if you're going to get your times well spent, if you're going to get your if you're going to invest your energy in the things that are going to give you some value, then it's going to be the best thing that you're going to probably do for the future as well.
Absolutely. Great points. Really, really good points. And Rad, tell us about your experience in the academy. Obviously, you guys were on the same course, right? So you'll have similar.
Yeah,
and again,
that was amazing. We've been in the same course.
Yeah, and how can you elaborate that? I mean, how was your experience? And again, share us your experiences and how you felt it was giving you that foundation and setting yourself up to get on board and hit the ground running.
Well, first of all, English is my second language. So that was one of the things that I always kind of in the beginning was struggling with. And meeting Wayne directly from London. And it was one experience that changed my life. I can't say it changed my journey just for the working on board or for OneSpa World. It changed my life. The most beneficial key point I ever took from that academy is never sit in your comfort zone. And this is the massive differences between people's expectations and experience. As when you're on land, you work in the same environment, you're in your safe zone, and this is why people don't progress. This is where, when you start to work on board, you will become one of the best trainers on planet. Not just being in the field, it's getting you above the zone. Learning and adapting is two things that London Academy teach me the best. So, whatever change, keep up with it. Education is something that you need to understand that you have to keep up. If you keep leaving academy on your ship, you will never fail. If you prepare properly, you won't fail. If you fail to prepare, you will definitely knock yourself down. And this is one thing that Wayne was very clear about. I do believe when I reverse the time that at point in academy, I didn't see it the way I see it now, but everything was written in the manual. And I always laugh. I say, we buy car, we never read manual, and then we end up paying mechanic to sort things and maybe we could prevent it. If you read your manual, you will never need anyone to help you. You'll be perfect trainer on board. Everything is written to the script. Just make sure you go through it properly and keep exercising the things you have been taught there. Adapting in different environment is the key point in life, not just on working on board. And that is where I believe the success comes out. As you need to first of all have goals. That's one thing that Wayne was always talking about. Set your expectations, set your goals, why you're going on board, what you want to achieve. Just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen.
just watch how your announcement in the background there, Rad. You know, what both Rad and David have said here is really, really important. The academy is designed to give you the closest experience to working on board a cruise ship you possibly can. But the academy is designed so we have 3 weeks to review and assess your willingness, your hard work, dedication, the desire to study, the desire to grow. And then you get placed and assigned based on the effort and the energy you put on. But it very much is still a job interview. The learning, and I think you both hit the nail on the head, the learning must continue. If you want to be a success and stay consistent, keep getting better, regardless of the environment, getting on board after that academy, if you are successful after the academy, the sacrifices have to continue. The sacrifice to self-study, to getting up earlier, to reading your manual, to going back to the drawing board. And if you keep on doing that, all of a sudden everything will start to click. The biggest mistake a lot of trainers make is they get on board, they think they now know everything, and they stop learning. And everything starts unraveling and falling apart. The sacrifices have to continue. And this job is not easy. This job is like losing weight. It's bloody hard. You have to work at it every single day. But if you do that, and as you both said, David and Rad, you keep on doing that, you know, what it can provide you and the success it can give you, not just in business, but in life, that mindset change, that development is incredible. So yeah, really, really good point there. It is, it is intense. It's hard work. It's not trying to be easy because we have to prepare you for what lies ahead. Working on board cruise ships is not easy. But if you work at it and if you develop yourself, then you find your rhythm, you find your way, and it's a very enjoyable life. As long as you're willing to work hard and keep on studying and keep on growing, I think that's very, very, really important. And I always tell the story, and I always speak to trainers. You know, when I did a visit, I remember, visiting ships in my supervisor days. I'll go to Cozumel for a week, and there would be 20 ships in from Monday through Friday. And of course, I can get to as many ships as I possibly can. And there was this one particular day where I was walking through the port on my way to a visit, and I see Rad sitting there at a coffee shop, his back turned, and he's sitting there, and I look at what he's reading, and he's reading a ripped up old manual, fitness business school manual from London from 3 years ago, you know, which just tells me everything I need to know. And David, exactly the same with yourself. You know, why you guys are continuing to be successful is because the learning and the studying in your spare time, you are willing to sacrifice and go back to what you know is the basics. And this is key. Do the basics well. If you do the basics well, then you're going to be successful. That manual is gold dust. It is a working, living, breathing document that we encourage everybody to keep on going back and building upon that and learning your self-study. So they're really, really important.
I would add just one thing, if you don't mind. So
sure.
Just before you ever step in the journey, I would just like you to ask yourself, what is really that you're passionate about? Because everyone has a gift necessarily, just sometimes we don't understand it. If you like seeing other people healthy and successful because you were on their journey, this is the best career you can choose in your life. If you're here just for money and you chase money and not seeing the benefits of helping others, you will necessarily find big obstacles. Money comes as a reward. That's a necessary one. And I'm really, really happy because I always say to people, don't forget, when you work on board, there is tax-free. So I work in UK for a COVID and I had great money on the paper, but when it comes to my pocket, it was horrible because obviously every country taxes you. When you're on board, that's none. You don't pay your food, you don't pay your accommodation. So it's amazing opportunity for you to have a great savings and invest further, whatever you like. But before you step in this, if you like what you do, you will not find it hard. Learning, for me, for example, every time when I find a new obstacle.
Rad's frozen in time for a minute. I'm sure he'll come back. David, whilst Rad's internet connection figures itself out, this is the beautiful thing about Wi-Fi at sea. Let's come to you for a moment regarding, you know, your first contract experience, getting on board, that first experience. When you first got on the ship, you come from the academy, you've been giving your details and you got to the ship. share with us that experience and what it was like in your first 4 weeks, and how you got on board and what you had to do to make sure that you hit the ground running and you were successful in the very beginning.
Wow, yeah. So it's already now 6 years ago, but I still remember like vividly, like it was, yes. Got my details. I was flying from London to Malta. I only had like 5-6 hours to prepare myself. And when I got to Malta, obviously when I saw the ship, it was like, I didn't know what to expect. Like my heart started racing. I was excited, obviously, to start this journey. And then once you get on board, like everything starts happening really fast. Okay, so you want to be prepared. And that's what the training in London already did quite good, because every single day there was some new thing, right? So you always had to adapt. And that was the thing that I tried to do in my first, like you said, 4 or 5 weeks when I was on the first ship, is just to obviously get my head around. So just to see where I am, where the place is, obviously how the environment is, how everything works. Obviously it was a new experience. So there was learning each and every day. Obviously start working with different nationalities. You see how people think, how they perceive working on board, etc. But here the crucial thing is to keep your head straight. So not to get overwhelmed, but trying to keep the focus, because you're going to get distractions and different things getting at you on board. Like it's a closed environment, but setting your focus right, having the mindset that you know why you came on board, what do you want to get from it. That's what's going to keep you focused, right? Even though you had like roller coasters along the way, and there were roller coasters like day in, day out. There are still roller coasters like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contracts in, but just keeping your head straight, keeping your head cool. And that's actually one thing that I really noticed with myself, is my patience and my tolerance and my thinking got a lot clearer, and you think a lot more rationally once you start working on board. So you're a lot more, you become a lot more rational person. You become a lot more focused. That obviously that you have a goal right there. Maybe it's a bit blurry at the beginning, but that fog will soon clear. So you're going to have that laser focus, like people like to call it.
Yeah, great points. And I think, again, just to summarize what some things you said there, having a goal and knowing what your purpose is and why you're on board that ship. Making sure you have your daily to-do list. What do you want to achieve in the next 4 weeks? What do you want to achieve in 6 months' time? What do you want to achieve in a year's time? What is the ultimate goal? What is keeping you motivated, and why are you on board that vessel? So really, really important. It's like every job, right? There's highs and there's lows with everything that we do in life, but the ability to stay focused, hanging around the right people. I'm a big believer of that. And as you said, David, there is a lot of distraction on board cruise ships, and like everywhere, right? There will be people that try to pull you away from what you're trying to achieve. Success breeds success. Negativity breeds negativity. It happens everywhere. We see it everywhere. Turning negatives into positives. Influencing people around you, hanging around successful people. You become the product of the people that you hang around with. Cruise ship, right? You become the people that you hang around with. So there are 2 types of people. There are the action takers and there are the excuse makers, and that just is what it is. Not just ship, but this is in life. So it's really, really important. And as you say, you have your goal, you have your focus, and you keep your eyes on the prize. Really, really important. Cool. And Rad, let's come to you. Tell us about your first 4 weeks, getting on board a ship for the first time, turning up with your luggage, your protein powder, nothing else, and getting on the ship. How was your first 4 weeks? What was the experience and things you did very, very early on to ensure that you hit the ground running?
Exactly as Dave said, like when I came, I never seen cruise ship in my life. So, it's just a massive hotel floating there. It's $800 million worth vessel, and you're entitled to step in and be a part of the journey. And I was just mind blown, man. I will never forget. I was in Texas, in Galveston, and that was my first ship there, Carnival Triumph. And I walk in, I was just mind blown, man. Like really, totally different level of game. But exactly as you said and as David said, you have to keep your head down. You have to keep focus. Otherwise, you're going to be out of game. But this is life. I would say it's not just a job. It's in life, same journey. And more you get it done on work, more you're going to actually practice it in the life, which is fantastic because you're going to be very successful. Keep the focus and never step out of your goals. You will laugh, every single contract on top of my bed, I glue the paper with the amount of money I want to earn that contract and with the amount of people I want to get that feedback and get them done, like get them happier and healthier. And this is something what sounds silly, but we all know if you write it down, you know what you focus every morning in, that's it. Keep your mind feeded with right things, guys. Before every seminar, before any day, you need to wake up earlier. Obviously, you call it sacrifice. I call it fantastic bless because you have opportunity to do that. Listen to things that will keep your focus on right way. For example, Tony Robbins, one thing that really changed my mind when Team Doc's first time came on my board and he talked about those people, I didn't know who they are, but that's where my game keep upgrading. And, you know, keep the focus up, work out. Don't stop to be, don't become lazy. Make sure you work out because it will make you feel fantastic. And you will see exactly when we come back to Story of Academy, Wayne used to advise us, go in the gym before Academy starts, which is 7 a.m. Yeah. And that's not what you do back home. But if you start practicing it, you do the first things what feed your brain and your body. Once you do that, it's so easy to succeed. I always say at 7 a.m. when I do my stretch class, I'm already hungry, I'm already driven, I already know what I'm going to talk about, and my guests are just sleepy and bubbly, but I'm hunting, you know, and you get your goals done. And it is very, very important to be careful who you surround yourself with. There are people who have different backgrounds and come aboard, but you need to just stick with the mass or on the end on your own and just keep driving yourself. I always say every cruise, you need to break it down to the edge. And my vision is COVID is the best thing ever happened to me. You know why? Everybody got obese, everybody got lazy, and everybody need to get out of comfort zone. It is the best time to make money. That's how I see COVID part. 1,000 people on board, be realistic. Do you ever talk to 1,000 people? No. So the point is you need your 10 people who will like you. And if the people like you, they will trust you. And if they trust you, they're going to invest in you. And that's the key golden rule, what of course Dan gave me long years ago, but this is how you make sure that people interact with you. But it was definitely the best experience of my life. First ship was make it or break it. And here I am 5 years later, still on the top and really living what I like. That's all.
Great. I mean, this all very, very good points. And just, again, just read and the key things, right? You can, knowledge is very, very, yes, knowledge and education in the subjects that we teach. Yes, very, very important. But the mindset, you know, the delivery of your content and the mindset going into your day is even more important. You know, and I think you mentioned at the beginning, Rad and David, you know, and I know other trainers, that if English isn't your first language, that is not, that just means that you have to develop your level of English, but at the same time, your body language, your energy, your intonations, the passion that you know, how you express yourself. I know trainers that, you know, haven't had the best level of English in their very early days, but they were doing a fantastic job just because people wanted to hang around. The aura, the energy meant that I want to book in with this guy, you know. So you combine the education part and the motivation part, you know, and the mindset. It's the recipe for success. So yeah, really, really good points. Mindset. We talked a lot about mindset, you know, and that's, you know, just finalizing that. What are some of the things you do? Because I think, again, very, very important. What are you doing before you start your working day? You know, what you do in your spare time is going to heavily dictate what happens in your working time, whether you're on a ship or not. So what is your morning routine like? What do you do before you start before a sea day, right? We know for fitness, sea days are every day is important. The sea days where we know we're going to be, this is make or break for the cruise. We've got our seminars coming up. We've got the bulk of our classes. What are you doing before a sea day to prepare yourself mentally for that day? Let's start with yourself, David.
So yeah, sea days are like the main thing for, I mean, any position on board, right? But sea days is what you have to live for. But you need to set up your sea day a day before it starts already. So it doesn't start on the morning of the sea day, it starts the night before. You have everything ready, so then the next morning everything goes smoothly. But before, let's say on the sea day morning, I usually wake up at like 5:30, 5:45 at latest. I try to make sure that I keep my head straight. I don't know, take a cold shower, whatever floats your boat. Have a glass of water, hot water. Those little things that obviously get your mind straight. And then obviously when you show up for your 7 a.m. class, you are already on point. You are already an hour and a half awake. You are already in the mindset of exactly how you want your day to flow. Okay, so you schedule your day in advance. I get questions from even my teammates now all the time, like, how are you so organized? Like, I want to be organized. You want to be in control of your time. You don't want other people taking control of your time. You want to be on point with everything. So every minute is structured already a day before the day starts. If that goes for classes, like an example, what you're going to do in your stretch class, what are you doing in yoga class, what are you doing in your spinning class? Make sure that you have your signups ready. Make sure that you have your obviously seminar signups that you spoke to enough people on the embarkation day, or even on the morning of when the classes start. You still repeat the things that what are you doing on board, what makes you so special. But going back to those things that doing before the things that you want to do before you even start a sea day is just have a moment with yourself, have that half an hour, because it's going to be a rough day ahead and you want to spend half day with yourself. Some people call it meditation, some people call it mental preparedness, or however you want to call it, just to be ready and just to know exactly or visualize your day, how you want it to go. And if you visualize it, if you prepared for it the day before, it's going to go the way that you want it to go.
So true. I love what you said there, visualization. Okay, and I'm sure you guys do it, and other traders out there that are having great sea days, is that visualization of just, I used to visualize as a trainer that seminar being packed and everyone lining up and everybody booking in. And it's amazing how when you constantly think about something, good or bad, when you constantly keep on thinking about it, typically it will happen, right? So you can either think positively or negatively, and negatively, of course, is not going to help the situation. So yeah, being mentally prepared, exactly, visualization. And I always love, and going back to something my dad even told me when I joined the military at 17 years old, the 5 P's, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So in other words, if you fail to prepare to fail. And David, as you said, be prepared the day before, knowing what your goal is, have everything in place. It is your business. Okay, we're giving you all the tools, and it is your own business. Okay, you need to be the master and the creator and the organizer of that business, right? And if you conduct yourself accordingly like that, and you're consistent, it speaks for itself. You know exactly the outcome, as you mentioned, Dave. So really, really good points. And Rad, let's come to you. So key things you do before you start your working day, mindset, the importance of that, the things you're doing, how you're getting yourself ready for a sea day or any day for that matter on board a cruise ship.
It's very simple. I always say every day should be considered as a sea day, because there are different type of cruises where you need to adapt, and there is 4 days most of the time rather than sea days. You still have to achieve a company expectations and on the best thing, your own expectations and targets. Yeah. So in my opinion, embarkation is the key day of your journey. If you smash your embarkation day, there is no fear for you. You have to always develop your brain thinking that you need to make your 10,000 per 7 days. That's like minimum, at least my expectations for paycheck, even if I don't have sea day, even if I don't have seminar, because there are different journeys that you need to adapt. Yeah. Embarkation is a key point. Again, promotion material needs to be ready. Your whiteboard, your good fit equipment needs to be there. You need to present in-body or BCA the way it really works. You need to encourage people and inspire them from the first second they see you. Every morning I am awake at 4 a.m. Everybody call me ghost on ship, because I usually work out when everybody sleeps. 4 a.m. is my workout. That's the first thing I do. I feed my body, then I feed my brain. I read 30 minutes before every day. Why? I try to clear up my mind. Yeah. And as Dave said, you have to visualize how many guests you're going to talk today, what the conversation is going to be about, and what numbers you're going to drive out. And if you break it down for every hour of your day, doesn't matter if it's C-day or core day, you're going to nail it. If you receive 70% of your target, you still receive a big outcome. So how many therapists you need to talk into to get you cross promotion? That's a very valuable part. How many people you're going to inspire to come and talk to you just because they're in the gym? How many guests you're going to engage and correct them when they work out and just get them interest in you because you're better than what I used to see before? Those are key rules for you to succeed any day of your journey. Because in Carnival, I used to have Shannon Casey always used to tell me, Red, you're a guy who will always be sent on the ships to make them happen. That's your title in the company because we see potential in you. And I used to mourn sometimes, oh, I got on journey 7 days, 6 sports, what to do with this? But guess what? I did it. Why? It's all here. Mindset. Just make sure you adapt. That's basically all. And every time be prepared. If you come late on your stretch class, even for 1 minute, guests immediately have different opinion of you. If you come 15 minutes before with full setup with your mats on the floor, just from stretch class, you can benefit a lot. I know many trainers mourn, oh, it's a free class. No, man, it's a free promotion. 30 minutes people come just to hear your knowledge, your passion, and opportunity to work with you. Get them inspired. You're gonna nail it. Doesn't matter. Here I am back in the celebrity, and as we spoke, there is a lot of people struggling to get booked seminars. First journey of mine, 53 people on seminar. What I did is I just make sure I didn't fail in preparation. My embark was prepared, my speech was there, my energy was there, and people just got influenced. So that's definitely, you need to have vision, you need to prepare. That's it.
Yep. It's always impossible until somebody does it, right? It's always impossible.
Yeah.
And then when it's done, all of a sudden other people see it's possible, and that breeds. So yeah, that leads into the next question I had, and we, both of you have touched on that. The ability to adapt, going from a 7-day cruise with 3 sea days, to then switching to a 15-day or a 12-day Mediterranean cruise with 10 port days, or a 3-day cruise with 0 sea, having the ability to adapt and overcome, regardless of the environment and the circumstances, is what is going to be a key to the success and the consistency, right? There are trainers that are good, but are only good when the environment suits their strengths. But then there are trainers, you guys have proven, when things change, when demographic changes, when itinerary changes, the ability to pivot and maintain that success. From seminars, wellness consultations, cross promotions with the team, working the gym floor. And as you said there, Rad, looking at a free class, not as a negative, but as an opportunity. Cozumel morning, 3 people turn up to a free class. Wow. Their hard-earned vacation, they want to spend time with me. Let me give them the best class they've ever had. And let's build this journey and take this to the next level. So really, really good points. Visualization, the way you view things, the ability to adapt, rather than justifying why we're not getting results, actually just putting some ownership on ourselves. And often to solve a problem, we just have to admit that we have one in the first place. I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. I shouldn't be working on my strengths. I need to be working on my weaknesses. And if I do so, I will get good, as you guys are saying, at the 3-day, the 7-day, the heavy port day itineraries, the heavy sea day itineraries, whatever it might be. So, this is a really important message, that it is absolutely possible. And we see it every single week. We're seeing the incredible results of this every single week. So really, really good points, guys. Next thing I want to ask you guys. Now, you guys obviously have been around since 2015. So, the pre-COVID world, the post-COVID world, and we understand, the ability to adapt right now is really, really important. How have you adapted coming back on board since return to service? How have you adapted, and how have you, in doing so, maintained that success? Well, where's the biggest adaptation that you both made, and how has that been a success for you both? So, starting with yourself, David.
So yeah, the adaptation, when I was coming back on board, I didn't really know what to expect because it was obviously post-COVID time. People have been obviously scared for the last year and a half. What's going on around the world? There is that virus going on, whatever it is. But that was actually something that was like planting the seed for what we actually do, right? So actually the world made us a favor, because a lot more people are now interested in themselves, and a lot of people are actually now looking for their answers, how they can get better. And I get people on the consultations, on the classes, working the gym floor, wherever you talk to them, they will tell you in the last 2 years, like COVID really hit me hard. Like, so great, here you are standing in front of them. It's like being sent or being a blessing for them. Like, here I am, obviously I'm going to give you what you obviously need, right? So I'm going to get you back on track. Okay, with my help you can actually get better. With my help you're gonna achieve your goals. But talking about the adaptation, yeah, you can look at, let's say, some of the maybe restrictions that are now on board ships that haven't been on board ships before. You don't focus on these restrictions, but you focus on them. You always try to find a solution. You never try to focus on the problem, because if you're going to focus on the problem, you're going to have a problem. But if you're going to focus on a solution, you're going to get creative. And once you get creative, you see like your mind going in different directions. You get all those crazy ideas. And then once you start putting them into practice, maybe not all of them will work, but one by one, you see what works, what doesn't work. And slowly you start adapting to the new things that obviously we have to work with. Okay. So again, it's not I don't call it a restriction. I call it as a challenge. I call it a challenge. And that's what obviously any personal trainer or any person that works in fitness likes. We like challenges. Okay. Once you obviously face the challenge, you're going to overcome it sooner or later.
Spot on. And again, you know, if you are an experienced trainer listening to this and you've worked on ships before, but you've returned to service, you know, you have something to compare it to, but it's the ability to not, again, just focus on what you, rather than focusing on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. If you're a first contractor, you have nothing to compare it to. So just, again, this is what it is. This is what I have in front of me. And this is the opportunities that I need to create, and just ensuring that you find ways and you find ways, improvise, overcome, adapt. Really, really good points, David. And Rad, how's it been? Obviously, you came back, December, right? I believe at the beginning of December time. So yeah, key things for yourself: getting back on board, returning to service, being out of the game for a little bit, and coming back on, and just ensuring that you maintain that success regardless of restrictions and what's happening right now.
I again believe strongly that it's all in the mindset of trainers and the way I keep myself positive and trying never to get distracted by problems. And I should just see every obstacle as an opportunity. Is I need 10 people to make my 10K. That's always the same mindset. Doesn't matter, is it 1,000 people on board or 3,000? Yeah, it's easier when it's 3,000, absolutely. But how I'm gonna get my 10 people to see me, talk to me, and invest in me. And this is where adaptation is absolutely necessary. What you're going to do about it and how you're going to attract people, it depends on you. Again, I always say, make sure that your mind keeps positive, because every time when you see it, as Dave said, if you see a problem, you will actually end up just trying to see more problem details. You know, where mind goes, energy flows. So if your mindset is proper, and if you just think about, okay, how I'm going to make sure that 10 people like me and invest in me, because people forget reality. Everyone who cruise has some budget, and everybody who cruise is willing to experience. Our job as a therapist is to deliver them fantastic experience, to make sure that they never going to forget about us. Yeah. So if you get that passion, if you get a drive and mindset, I laugh. COVID is the best opportunity I ever had. I make with less effort, more money than ever before. Why? People go to bees. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired and not doing anything with their life. And when you give them opportunity to change, they're not going to think much, because they see something new done. And this is what I see as a COVID. It's fantastic time, because we're going to grow. You're going to be much stronger as a trainer, because you're going to adapt in a harder environment, but you're still going to do it. Nothing is a problem.
Exactly. Great advice, guys. Really, really good. And really important, you know, for everybody listening, that the importance, I think, again, mindset, mentality, key areas and points through this conversation that we've had today. Look, as we get towards the closing of our discussion today, and again, for both of you, what books you guys personally, because I know you guys read a lot of books, you listen to a lot of sales audios and motivational speakers, and I think you've mentioned Rad today as well. What are your book recommendations? What do you recommend? What have you read, studied over the time for this company, or even what are you reading and studying now? And what would you recommend? What are your book recommendations? Audio recommendations, whatever you recommend.
So yeah, the books are the crucial thing, right? Because they give you more edge, they give you more education, they give you more clarity, and you see how other people have done it, right? Not maybe just in our field, but in other fields. But you see how people are making it with the same mentality and the same mindset. And then you just try to pick a bit of an information from everyone that you read through, and once you put the pieces of the puzzle together, you're gonna get on track. So maybe the 5 books that made the most, let's say, impact on me would be, first one would be that The Influence, the Science of Persuasion. Then it was about communication. So how to talk to anyone. So you get the understanding, like how to communicate with people. What are the things that you need to be aware of? What are maybe just the small things that make a big difference when it comes to closing? Autobiographies. Like an example, at the moment, I just actually read Will Smith. So he just published his own book, and it was funny when I I listen to audiobooks because it's a little bit more convenient on ship. So once I read the reviews on his book, like, it's amazing how you can see those comments from people that have listened to the book and how they review it. So because Will Smith, he starts obviously. He started off he grew up in Western Philadelphia. He came from a middle-class family, etc. But then once you start reading the comments, a lot of people are actually saying, then he just starts bragging about himself. He's not bragging. He's telling you what he's doing and what made him successful and the sacrifice that he had to do. It's amazing to see you can read it in the people comments, and you can actually see the profile of a person that actually wrote that comment. Okay, how they are actually focusing on the wrong things rather than trying to take the most out of the book. And he's giving you all the information. Will Smith, in that case, he's giving you all the information, how he made it success, how his focus, where his focus went, what he was investing his time in, etc. So that's one thing. Another book would be definitely Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So you get the understanding about the money. And you get that clearance. I'm pretty sure you read that book, right? We all did.
I have that book. Great book.
It's a Bible.
Yeah, exactly. And another one, then the books that obviously give you more clarity and understanding about the topics that we teach. So one of them that made a big difference for me was Nutrition Made Clear, or obviously how the body works, how digestion works, the nutrients and everything. And that's actually one of the best things about working in the company is it actually makes you think or it actually makes you want to read more about the things that you're actually teaching. So self-development, personal growth, that's a big thing. And if you're gonna obviously invest into yourself, you're gonna get good results. But like Red said on the beginning, constantly getting out of the comfort zone, constantly trying to challenge yourself, that's gonna be like, even though you think you know everything, I'm pretty sure if you think you know everything, you know nothing, right? But trying to stay humble and always learn new things. Okay, there is always something you can learn.
Yeah, I think that's to that point, being humble, right? Doesn't matter how experienced you are as a trainer. Reach out to your colleagues. When you're in community, social media today is used more than ever before. WhatsApp groups, and I know you guys both reaching out to other trainers and just drawing new experiences, regardless of your experience, and being humble enough to say, yeah, this is where I'm still struggling. Is there something that you're doing that I'm not? And let's work together and help each other out. Likewise, people in your team. Even as a supervisor, after many years in this company, I would go on board ships with these first contract trainers. I'm like, wow, what amazing what an amazing idea from these people that are, brand new to this company. So regardless of experience, staying humble, taking it, getting feedback, seeking clarity, I think really, really important. And as you said there, David, you're studying subjects that are related to the seminar subjects you're going to teach, the consultation you're going to teach. But the other side of it is the mindset and the business, and marrying that together. It's really, really important. Really, really important. So great advice. And Rad, give us some book recommendations, sales audios, whatever you recommend. What serves you well?
Yeah, I'll go just straight to the books. So Can Hurt Me, David Goggins, Breakpoint by Ollie Ollerton, China Study, that would be nutrition part, one of the best books I ever read about the food concept and understanding of quantities of protein, carbs, how microbiomes work. Insane book, go with it. Closer Survivor, Grant Cardone, one of the best books I ever read, man. Treat the buyer as a buyer. Every human being is a buyer until it doesn't get the buy. It's the best book I ever seen in my life. Guys, if you didn't read it, please read it. Closer Survivor, excellent thing. Make Your Bed, obviously one of the first books I ever read. It's I forgot who wrote it. Damn it. It's Admiral, but I forgot his name. William something. How
He's
to
the
organize
US
your
Navy
day.
SEAL General, I believe, a US Navy SEAL
Yeah.
Commander, and it was a speech he done to a group of
Fantastic mind concept. How to keep like just a little thing so you can go through the proper day. It's incredible. Well, wait.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Whilst Rad goes through his next announcement, there were some books that Rad mentioned there. And again, what I've noticed is there's a lot of great books when it comes to mindset. If you're into it, as I am, I personally love reading books of people that were ex-military, ex-special forces. David Goggins, who Rad just mentioned, who is US Navy SEAL. There's a guy called Ant Middleton. He was a special boat service operator. So in the Royal Marines, British Royal Marine, who went into the special forces, climbed Everest, has a famous TV program, SAS, Are You Tough Enough? Yeah. Which is in the UK and in Australia. But again, some great podcasts that he's done. He's got a great book called Zero Negativity. He has another great book called The Fear Bubble. And just, embracing fear, throwing yourself into fear, turning negatives into positives. So yeah, there's some good opportunities to invest into these audiobooks, read them in your spare time, prepare you for your working day. And I'll let you finish there, Rad, as well with what you're saying. I think your announcement's finished. Yeah,
sorry for that. Now, basically, the 5 seconds rule, how to talk your mindset, how to talk your mind out of comfort zone. You have 5 seconds. When you get idea, 5 seconds to step out. If you don't, your mind will find a way, because the whole point of mind is to keep you safe from the evolution and through the apes part. We want to be in comfort zone. The only way you're going to progress if you talk yourself out very quick. 5 seconds rule. PH Miracle, one of the books that really gave me, even that I go through science of biology, a fantastic concept of homeopathic healing, how to understand the pH balance, which is whole program about. So yeah, those are like my little points, what I would definitely advise people to go for. There is plenty of more, obviously, but yeah, those will be basics. Barbara O'Neill seminars, guys, go on YouTube, see Barbara O'Neill. She's from Australia, homeopath, working into detoxifying, nutrifying, and exercising routines. It will give you a great flow to understand the human organs, body, and then how to move it forward. Fantastic people are there. Just the best thing of us is because we can summarize all that in one. And the more knowledge you get, and then it comes out from you, you're becoming unique. And that's where you should just step out from everyone's above. That's all.
Awesome. Really, really good advice, guys. Got plenty of opportunities there. Everyone should be looking and investing into these books, and that investment will pay off, that's for sure. And again, and summarizing that, some of the best education, in addition to everything that we've said, and these guys I'm sure will agree, throwing yourself constantly into conversations with people, getting on board ships, you're reading books, if you're learning, the 100, I remember reading a book called The 100-Year Life, Randall Fitzgerald, full of bits of information that I'm like, wow, I'm going to use that in my next seminar. I'm going to add that into my consultation, or taking consultation forms, looking at medication. what is this medication for? Let me go and study it. Next guest that I have, I can now talk about it. You should be, that stuff doesn't get you excited, then there's a problem. That's what you should be excited to go and express and talk about to your guests. And the more you do that, and the more you keep throwing yourself into conversations, the better you're going to get at connecting, learning the psychology of sales by actually just throwing yourself into the deep end and constantly having conversations. And it's amazing how, if I look at the top 10 trainers over the last 10 years, I am sure that they hear no, let me think about it, let me research it more than trainers making or have not been successful. The difference is they're having 1,000 conversations a week. They're constantly engaging in that conversation to create the opportunity. Because at the end of the day, in order to get a yes, you have to give them the opportunity to say no. So read, study, educate, throw yourself in the deep end, constantly have conversation, and all of a sudden everything clicks and you'll start hearing, yes, let's do this, sign me up. It works, okay? It absolutely works. So guys, I had an amazing conversation with you guys today. I think it's been very, very productive. It's going to help a lot of people draw, new inspiration, and you guys have been really motivational. So I really, really appreciate spending the time on this call this morning. Before we finish, in closing, final words, any final words, any last pieces of advice that you want to give trainers out there right now, or people are about to join ships or thinking about joining ships? So David, what's your any final words?
So yeah, to anyone that's just getting on board, right, just starting his journey, like we talked already on this call, just set yourself with goals. Write them down if necessary. If you're gonna write them down, that means that you already have something to look at each and every day. So that's gonna put your mind that's gonna focus. That's gonna give you focus every single day. If you're gonna read it every single morning, okay, that's gonna automatically set your mind straight. And then even if the tough times come, always you can refer back to what you wrote, what your goal is, and you have to know that the tough times will pass. Okay, it's just a challenge in the way, but once you overcome that challenge, then you get the knowledge about overcoming that challenge when it comes when the next time, when you're going to face it the next time. And maybe just one last thing, I was actually looking at Red, and I love it how you actually have to use the landscape mode, because otherwise you wouldn't fit in the screen.
Yeah, we need to get you. The only reason I order XXL RASA uniform is because Red works.
Come on, guys. Thanks for that. I get it as a compliment.
Yeah,
you know what? I always say to people, man, if you ask me, would I rather drive Ferrari or would I rather look like Ferrari? I'll definitely go with the second choice. Because once you park your car, who you work hard for, and you just put keys in your pocket, if you don't shine and if you don't have energy and if you're not really inspiring people around you, you're still nothing. If you look like Ferrari, even if it's $2 shirt, everybody turn around for you and say, wow. And that's where inspiration comes. And, I just live my job. That's why I love it. You can call me Ferrari, even if I don't drive one.
Keep working hard enough, you have a Ferrari, mate.
Yeah, I eat it.
Guys, really good chatting with you both. I really appreciate all your time. So that everybody listening will, take this information, use it, draw from these experiences that these two guys have been now doing and using for the last six almost 7 years. So guys, really appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch and we'll speak soon. Cheers, guys.
Fantastic.